Hey guys, welcome back. If you want to see how I created this look, keep on watching. So I'm starting off with my brows. I've really been enjoying doing my brows before my face or my base. So I'm going to use my Got2b gel to brush my brow hairs up. This enables the brow hairs to stay in place while I'm able to use my concealer to clean up the bottom part of the brows. I'm going to use my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in the shade SX11 and SX12 because I realized that the SX12 is a little bit too yellow. So I'm beginning to, mix it up so that it looks a little bit more cool toned under my brow. I'm using a flat brush to clean as close to my brows as possible. And then I'm going to go in with my brush from Real Techniques. I'm going to use that to blend the concealer under my brow so that it doesn't look too cakey and the product is evenly spread under the brows. So I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury setting powder to set the concealer under my brow so that it doesn't move while I'm filling my brows in. I'm using my Real Techniques setting brush to push just a little bit of powder under my brows. For my brow hairs, I'm going to fill that in with my Juvia's Place Eye Sculpt Brow Pencil in the shade Dark Brown. I'm going to just fill in the sparse areas of my brows. My brows look that way because I have them microbladed and it's been probably 2 years now, and yeah, that's why they look like that. So if you're wondering why my brows are like that, it's because I have them microbladed. So I focus most of the product on the ends of the brow because that area is a little bit thin, and if I have them like that with makeup on, I feel like they look a little bit weird. So yeah, that's why I like to focus most of the products on the ends of the brow. So I'm gonna go in with my Juvia's Place brow pen, and I am going to just make hair-like strokes in my brows so that the brow hairs look like it has a lot of hairs. It's an extra step, but you can just skip this if you are not into the feathery brow look. So I'm going to clean up the top part of my brows with the foundation I'm going to be using today, which is the Too Faced Born This Way Matte Foundation. I'm in the shade Chestnut, and I'm using the same flat brush that I used to sculpt the bottom of my brows to clean up the top. It's just the easiest way for me. I also like to put a little bit of foundation just at the beginning part of the brows so that it has like an ombre. It's honestly an extra step, so you can just skip this. I'm also using my buffing brush to just blend the product into my skin. For primer, I'm using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I'm gonna put that all over my skin. So for foundation today, I am using my Too Faced Born This Way Matte Foundation. I told you guys earlier, I'm just going to buff that into my skin with my Real Techniques. I think this is the buffing brush. It just works really nicely to blend everything into the skin. I'm really obsessed with Real Techniques brushes. They are affordable, they last long, and they blend products in like a dream. Also, I'm going in with a sponge to do some extra blending and to pick up any excesses. For concealer, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Butterscotch. I'm gonna put that under my eyes, chin, mustache area, bridge of my nose, and then my forehead. I usually do this and I allow that to sit while I apply my cream bronzer. This is from Huda Beauty. This is the Tantor Cream Bronzer and it's in the shade medium. I put that on my temples, the hollows of my cheekbones, and I just blend that into my skin. Whatever product is left on the brush, I go onto the chin and jawline area. I do not apply product directly onto my jawline and chin because I feel like it looks muddy. I always have to say this in videos just because some people ask me why I didn't put product there. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and blend in my concealer with my Color Box Cosmetics brush. I'm going back in with a sponge to do some extra blending. Now I'm going back in with my foundation brush with no extra product to blend out the edges so that there's a nice transition and all the harsh lines would be blurred out. I'm going in with a second concealer just under my eyes. I'm using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Medium Neutral. I like a bright under eye. While I let the concealer sit, I apply my cream blush from Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Love. I'm gonna buff that into my skin with the brush I use to blend out my cream contour, just so that it mixes with the product and it doesn't look too harsh. It just gives me sort of a natural blush look, which I love. And then now that the blush is blended into my skin seamlessly, I'm gonna go in with a sponge. I could have gone in with a brush, but I just decided to use a sponge to blend out the under eye area. I like a bright under eye, if I haven't said that already. So yeah, that's why I use 2 concealers. So you can stop at 1 concealer or use 2 concealers, whatever works for you. I didn't contour my nose. I just remembered to do that and I realized I used way too much product on the bridge of my nose, so I went ahead to clean it up on a wipe, and I'm going ahead to drag that down the sides of the bridge of my nose and into my brows, just so it looks a little bit more natural. It's not natural, honestly. Makeup is not natural, but yeah, just so it looks less harsh is what I meant to say. Again, I'm going back in with my sponge. I usually do that a lot. Go back in with sponges and brushes just to make sure there are no creases, harsh lines are blended in. And yeah, I feel like I honestly spend a lot of time blending my makeup rather than applying it. Like, I don't know if it makes sense. As you can see, I'm going back in with my foundation brush. I mentioned this brush as a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Powder, and I'm using that to set my under eye area. It's the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Powder. Look at how flawless it looks, just to set the under eye. And it can be a powder foundation if it's your skin tone, or lighter to set your under eye area. Like, it's a really good powder, so you can go ahead and purchase it. It's also affordable. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury setting powder to set the rest of my face, you know, where I applied concealer to. Make sure to set the corners of your nose so that it doesn't crease or get oily. If you have an oily T-zone like me, make sure you're pushing the powder in there. For the rest of my face, I'm using a pressed powder that is my skin tone or close to my skin tone to set the foundation with a big powder brush from New Techniques. As you can see, it's enhancing the look and the bright under eye is still there. I'm going to use my bronzer from Fenty Beauty. This is the Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Coconutty. I'm gonna go over the areas that I applied my cream bronzer to, and this time around I go directly with product onto my jawline just because powder looks less harsh. I'm also going over the sides of the bridge of my nose to enhance the contour that I applied there earlier as well. And I'm going to go in with some powder to clean up the sides of the bridge of my nose, do a little bit of baking, do some reverse contouring, and I'm gonna leave the powder to sit there. That's me setting my smile lines, by the way. I'm gonna leave the powder to sit there so that we can apply eyeshadow. This does two things for me. It just makes the under eye area look flawless, and it also catches fallout. I'll show you guys how to clean up fallout in case you do your eye makeup after you do your base. That's why some people are afraid to do their eye makeup. I'm cleaning up my reverse contour just because I don't want the powder to stay there too long. Yeah, so we're gonna go into eye makeup soon. I am using the Army palette from Juvia's Place, and I'm going to go in with that green right there. I'm going to pat that onto my eyelid and eventually, you know, blend it into my entire lid, avoiding the crease area. You guys are seeing that I am patting it onto my eyelid directly, and I am doing the wind wiper or wiper motions. I don't know what it's called. It's the wiper motions, right? Yeah, so I pat it onto my eyelids and then I go in and blend the product upwards. I didn't go in with the product directly onto my crease. I passed the product on my lid and then I blend it up into the crease. This will create a gradient. If you go directly with product onto your crease, it's gonna look a little bit muddy, honestly, and it's very easy to do. It's not difficult. Just pat the product on your eyelid and then work your way upwards. I hope it makes sense. As you can see, there's a gradient going on. So I'm gonna go and do the same to the other eyelid. I'm going back in with that dark green and I'm gonna pat that directly onto my eyelids. Just patting that. I'm not gonna blend it into my crease or anything. I'm just patting that onto my eyelid. This is the main lid color. I hope that makes sense. So that's literally it. And I'm gonna do same for the other eye. I'm gonna use a liner that is also an eyelash glue to apply my eyelashes. I wanted to create a small wing and I decided to use this lash glue from Kiss. So while I applied that, I just immediately popped my eyelashes on because if you leave it too long on your eyelid, it will dry down and it's a little bit messy if you go in with multiple coats of eyeliner / lash glue. Anyway, so I do one eye at a time. I apply the lash glue and then I go in and pop my eyelash on. I'm gonna go in and tightline my eyes with a dark black pencil just to keep the smokiness going, and I'm gonna go in with that color, the lighter green, and I'm gonna smoke out the lower lash line with that so that it can match the eyelid. For my inner corners, I'm gonna go in with that shimmery green, and I'm just gonna put that onto my inner corners and nowhere else, because this is a matte green smoky eye look. I hope this is helpful because green is not necessarily my favorite color, but I feel like this is a pretty eye look and it's super simple. So in case you wanted to do something green, you can try this out. So you can see that I'm flicking the powder off. That's the fallout. So I do that before I go in and blend the rest of the powder under my eye, and I'm going in with my powder brush just to make sure everything is nice and seamless. For blush, I'm going in with this Juvia's Place blush in the shade Bella, and I'm putting that onto the apples of my cheeks. For setting spray, I'm using the Morphe continuous setting spray to honestly just melt everything together. For highlighter, I'm using one from Fenty Beauty. I'm gonna apply that onto the high points of my cheekbones, the tip and the bridge of my nose, the brow bone area, and a little bit onto my inner corners just to make sure that the green is popping. It's not gonna distort the green color, it's just bringing it to life. And I'm gonna clean up my lips and go in with my lip liners from Juvia's Place in the shade Cola and the Locs Beauty Company lip liner in the shade number 10. I'm gonna use that to, line and overline my lips slightly. I also like to go in with my NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Berlin. I use that to go over the lip liners that I applied just to soften it up and to make the center color that I'm going to be applying, especially if it's a nude, to blend in seamlessly to give the ombre effects. So yeah, I'm going to use my Huda Beauty bullet lipstick in the shade Board Meeting. I'm gonna just apply that onto the center and blend that into my lips with my fingers. So this is the entire look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.